It's pretty different.
Yeah, you look like...
Go ahead, say hi.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Are we
They're not
streaming?
yeah, we're good. We're good. Take it away. Take it away, Chief.
You gotta hit the button.
No. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Another nailed it.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. All right. So, hey, welcome to another episode here.
Another edition.
Another edition.
Hey, happy Veterans Days.
Oh, yeah, man.
Happy Veterans Day, everybody.
Veterans Day.
So,
I said days.
yeah.
There should be days, frankly.
Yes.
Well, hey,
be
whether
a
it's
month.
days or months or years or whatever.
Yeah, we
Thank
love
you all who have served. I myself, being one that served, knows that it is greatly appreciated when people actually take the time to thank you for your service. And when I'm thanked, I always say my pleasure. Not because I dig Chick-fil-A,
Right.
but
No, they stole it from you guys.
yeah, because it is. It is. It's our pleasure to
Yeah.
be able to do what it is that we're able to do.
Well, in unpacking, it's your pleasure. You're basically saying it's your pleasure to dedicate yourself and commit yourself to death for our freedom and our safety of our country. That's your pleasure.
Well,
Brother, I love you for it.
well, that's interesting because that was I spoke at the local school this morning
Yeah.
in their not parade, but whatever the performance. What do you call it? Assembly.
Assembly. That's
Assembly. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Thanks for your help there, buddy.
Anytime.
I spoke it this morning, and that was what it was all about. It's a commitment that men and women make to their country because they believe in what it is that we stand for. So it was awesome. It was a great time. And I know that there are some people out there, especially I see Dan Sponholz on there. I know that he was he's one of our veterans. So thank you, Dan, and whoever else. If you guys want to say,
Dan?
Hey, feel free if you want to in the comments there. Want to shout out, hey, I was in the Army. We won't make fun of you. Or I was in the Navy. Woo, no. No, I'm playing. Yeah. If you're in any branch of service, if you want to just say, hey, that's where I was, or that's what I did, and I just want to. We want to.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So
You know, and it's amazing. This community is blessed with a lot of amazing veterans.
Man,
Yeah,
for sure.
The amount of military and the amount of people that have a heart for this country in this community, I think, is one of the biggest reasons it has the heart, culture, and maintains the values that we have to this day.
Truth.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, without values, what do you have?
No, nothing.
Not much.
No, there's
Chaos,
no foundation
right?
there.
There's no foundation at all. So,
Slippery slope right there.
Well, hey, give me a history lesson here because the day yesterday was Marine's birthday, right?
Yeah. So yesterday, which was funny because there's a lot of people, Stefan being one of them. He comes into my office this morning. He's like, "Why didn't you tell me your birthday was yesterday?"
Literally, I literally thought his birthday was yesterday. And he didn't tell me, and he was just being a goober.
Yeah. He's like, "How old are you?" Well, yesterday I was 246.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't my birthday, my biological birthday. It was my Marine Corps birthday or the Marine Corps birthday. So
Right.
246 years. If you do the math, that is 1775. So the Marine Corps has been around longer
Before
than, yes.
Wow.
Did you do the math in your head? Or you just knew that, right?
It's part of the job. It's who they are. It's what they do.
I'd have to kill you.
In great, yeah.
It's a secret.
I love that.
Love it.
Love it, dude.
Love it. Well, man, I'm really enjoying these Thursdays. It's talk about an opportunity to just come back to the roots of everything. Fellowship with dear friends to the left and right of me, but also to get to engage with community and just talk about life.
Oh, absolutely. So Dan Sponholz, he writes out Air Force. We know that Dan was part of the Air Force. We will not hold that against you, Dan. We know that you had a lot of nice, warm meals. And
you know what? Thank you for your service, Dan. I'm sorry this Marine up next to me is better.
Yeah, listen, we cannot be held responsible.
You know
We will
what's
not be
gonna
held
happen.
responsible
No,
for
but
Lee's comments.
Is it unless they're a Marine, are you going to make fun of them?
well, yes, but not. But here's the thing: every one of them. See that seems like it's disrespectful for
That's what
someone.
they do.
Yeah, but that's what we do. I
That's what
mean,
you do.
Air Force, Army, everybody's going to. They'll probably call me like a dumb jarhead or something like that.
My favorite thing is I saw this funny thing. It was, I believe, from the Navy, and it says, "Happy birthday, Marines, from your favorite Uber driver." Is that?
Yes, the Navy's one that got us around. So
Yes.
Yep.
Oh man,
For sure.
There you go.
No, but
Ugh.
anybody, honestly,
Yeah.
and they know it. Anybody who's
Uber
served.
yeah. And by the way, everyone in the comments, I just think it's awesome to see people in the comments thanking people that are mentioning that they're in service. I just saw
Yes.
Miles
Yeah.
popping up there. That's beautiful. Again, a testimony to the awesome community we have.
Truth.
It's been a busy week.
It's been a very busy
Indeed.
week. So let's start off with how big of a busy week has it been?
About 16 foot of busy.
16
foot.
feet.
It took flight, guys.
It did. No, so explain it. People want to know.
Yeah. The Megalacy has its wings. It took flight, and it was more spectacular to see that thing lift off than I pictured in my head.
Hey, Dan, I don't know if we want to have that bet, but that's all right. Keep on going.
All right.
It's gonna be like this all day.
Yeah, it's gonna be like
All
this.
day.
I see the theme of this one.
Yes.
Now we got it together, and it's kind of humbling because typically when we build a big airplane, the final chapter, the servos and stuff, it's just cut a hole, slap a servo, cut a hole, slap a servo. Put a piece of plywood in there, run a screw through it. Mount your wing.
Not the case.
Not the case at all. We had the intention and the ambition to actually fly this for the first time last week. That was a quick reality check. And we had to get it done by yesterday before dark, by golden hour. And with the time change, that's not in our favor.
Yeah, it gets dark like 5 o'clock.
Yeah. So we were hustling, and Dave was just knocking out of the park. But we ended up getting around on the field around 4 o'clock. And
speaking of David, you see what he said?
No.
16 foot 5 inches.
You know what? Yes.
Boom.
Yes. And by the way, I only drew the thing to 16 foot. I don't know how the 5 inches
Expansion.
Yes.
The air.
It's swelled up.
Don't let me measure anything for you guys ever, by the way.
Yeah, the tutor is not this big. It's that big.
But what really impressed me was how weight just kind of jumps in there. We were weighing the wings and like just gawking about how light this thing is. By the time this plane was ready to fly, we were
48.7 pounds.
48. I think you're lying.
I don't know.
It's lighter than 48. I think it's 40 pounds.
You think it's 40?
I think we're
It
easily
was between 40 and 50.
I think
it was legal.
it was definitely legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I said 48.7.
There you go. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe there's necessarily a law. I'm going to really get a lot of people mad, but I'm pretty sure that's an AMA thing. Well, I thought you can go up to sub 250 pounds without.
It depends on who you ask.
Who you ask, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make a bunch of people mad at me right now.
No, so because we don't want. Hey, we should talk about like not wanting to make the AMA mad. That's not our ambition.
No.
All that later. But go ahead, keep on going.
So the weight creeped up and stuff, but with all that said, the wing loading was so light, it just elevated off the ground, not a click of trim, and now we are in the process of covering. Dave spent literally all day, 8 hours straight, sanding and blocking and getting this thing ready for covering film, which we're going to be starting tomorrow, and lights, camera. Well, we're going to have cameras on it, yeah, but we got to get something to drop things with too. We need drop mechanisms on the wings, drop mechanisms on the drop mechanisms, and
drops on the drops on the drops.
Yeah. So our peeps are coming in saying yes, it is FAA regulations 55 or
there
less.
It is 55. We're definitely under 55.
We know.
Thank
we
you.
get. I get that.
Oh, X-Jet's on. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
What's up, Bruce?
Boy, we got the attention of Bruce. This is awesome.
I don't know Bruce. Hey, Bruce. My name's Lee. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Bruce. I like it. Well, my wife's maiden name is Bruce. Yeah. So
tree landings around here are acceptable.
Yes.
Tree landings are always an option. It was pretty cool though, because the disciplines of full scale are merging now with flying model airplanes, the energy it carries and everything. So
awesome.
I just want to let everybody know that RC normally stands for remote control. This is like a real craft. Like this is like it's so big. I don't think I understand. The lines are blurred.
Yeah.
It's so big.
Down the road from us is a little private airstrip that we fly out of called Minerva Airport, and that's where I fly out of with the ultralights, and we fly out with paramotors. And I see the planes, flying around. This looked just like
I know. That's what I'm trying to say. I was doing ground to air cam yesterday, and it literally like the Champ that flies over, the Cessna that flies over around here, it looked absolutely the same.
Yeah,
no difference.
It was awesome.
No difference.
So it's going to be a really rewarding episode. But where I'm like really getting obsessed is there was a goal that we had, like to build bigger and do bigger and stuff. But it's really kind of defeating when those projects only last for 1 or 2 episodes.
Right.
I say this every time, but I want to be able to go back to this thing. And you know, how neat will it be someday just to impact someone's life and just give them that experience? I want a little squishy kid to fly these things. You know, I shouldn't say squishy kid.
Yeah, no, you say it every time.
I do. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Young individuals.
Yes.
Young
When I say
individuals,
squishy kids, I'm not talking about chunky kids. I'm talking like the little cheeks and you squish them.
That's
Yes.
hey, I'm not
I'm in,
judging.
I'm in
like
straight
my
up grandpa.
kids.
By the way, I'm in grandpa mode,
Yes.
and it's your kid's fault.
It is my kid's
It is your
fault.
kid's fault.
100%.
So,
But
but
I'll take full blame on that.
yeah, I want to be able to give them that memory, and you just can't do that with a plane that's wiggly. And so, what we're learning with the foam core and what we'll be able to do as we learn with that through the thing, I think we'll be flying in airplanes and building airplanes and putting our butts in them by spring or summer.
Yeah.
It's happening.
And on top of that, just a quick note, the landing gear on this thing, okay, looks like a real airplane. Also, the wheels are about the size of wheels that you'd see on a
They're
real,
the same size as my Airlight.
Did you hear this, people? They're the
That's
same
nuts.
size. And Josh sits in that airplane. And so the fact that also the wheels are 3D printed with that sweet TPU from Color Fab or whatever that is. What's it called? Verisure. It's
Yeah.
like it feels like a real
Well,
tire. It looks like a real.
Well-
I am blown away
Yeah.
by the fact of how awesome this aircraft is.
And
the
going
Megalacy.
to the feel and stuff, it actually is more durable than the nose gear in my Airlight too. So like it squishes less. I feel very confident I could like swap those out if it had the
Really?
right hub. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
hilarious.
love what XJet said. I know exactly what he's saying. The
Mhm.
bigger the model, the longer the line of sight. That's right. That is
Exactly.
absolutely right.
Yes.
So we
That's
can,
awesome.
good
That's
way to
cool.
play with those regs.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Exactly.
True statement.
So that was an awesome experience. But man, by the end of the day, were you just exhausted?
Oh man, I
crashed hard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Like when I texted you, I don't know, it was like 10 o'clock last
Yeah.
night. I was half asleep, trying to keep my eyes open. Just I need to text him this, but I can't. So if you
can't
text
move
me
my
back,
thumbs.
and I like, if it doesn't make any sense. But yeah,
Yeah.
I was the same way because it was, especially the part that we're not going to show people where the plane when it landed. It
We can show people that. That just shows we have good spotters.
Yep.
did you catch that on?
Oh,
on
I
camera?
got it
Yeah.
all.
Oh yeah.
No, I zero apology over that. I mean, we had a plan. We talked about it before we landed out. We had to execute the plan, but your daughter's
Execute.
still alive, which is cool.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
without a scratch.
So is Max.
Yeah. And
And
so is
Max.
Max. Well, yeah, Max.
Where
Uh,
is Max?
He loves that.
So the legacy, and this is kind of cool because this can kind of dovetail into. I don't know where
He's under the table.
on my
He's
feet.
under the table.
He's
yeah.
hanging out.
Max is going deaf. I'm convinced.
Yeah, he is.
He's like 45 years old, right?
He's old.
Not
So
that that's old.
so the legacy has one fundamental flaw with the twin engine conversion, and that's because when you land, you just don't have any real air going over the rudder, and so she likes to ground loop if you're not careful. And we talked about that too, which is really cool. Pre-flight,
Right.
Okay, spotter on this, and your lovely daughter was doing the filming for David and I.
Mm-hmm.
And so her back's obviously towards that. So we had a contingency of like, okay, if it starts going, one person spots a plane, grab the camera person, which happens to be Miss Moose.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked like clockwork. We were really good.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
try and touch us down beautifully. And it's like, okay, nudging to the right, nudging to the right, nudging to the right. And I'm blipping it, but you got to stop it. So eventually you got to try to plant the tail. Well, the
Yeah.
spring on the steerable tail wheel wasn't strong enough.
Mm-hmm.
And she starts, ground looping right towards Miss Moose. And next thing you know, David's big burly body
Yeah.
has Moose on the other side of him, and I'm in front of David catching the airplane, and it was pretty funny.
Yeah, and the reason it's significant is because the motors that we used are swinging 28-inch props,
Soon to be 30.
soon to be 30.
Yeah,
So
we're going up in,
Oh,
if
we're
you
gonna
get-
up it?
if you get
Mhm.
nudged
Oh,
on with a
wow.
hoodie on with a 6-inch
Yeah.
blade, you like and be
well,
done.
there's this testimony that you can go big, you can go extreme, and
Yes.
if you care about safety, you don't need it regulated. You can use your head.
Yes.
You want common sense.
Common sense.
Logically
It's just an
think through.
amazing thing,
Oh my goodness.
So, and it was kind of cool. I think honestly, it should be in the video
I'm
because frankly, that was
well,
my landing. I'm proud of it.
Listen, it was
a
a
good
good
landing.
landing. I
Yeah.
felt
Very good
really
landing.
good about it.
By the way, this is a good testimony to go into a version 2 because I got to test fly it with the tail fences on
Mhm.
night and day
Yeah.
in regards to stability and low
Okay,
speed.
so you're talking about the
Yeah.
the legacy, not the big
not the Megalacy, but the Legacy.
okay all right.
Transitioning.
Yeah, so on the 15th, right? 15th
Yeah, yeah.
is when the Legacy is getting released.
When around the 15th,
Around the
it'll be
15th.
when the store email comes out.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. That gives me an extra day. Thank you. Or 2.
Yeah.
Um,
It'll be before
Yeah.
we leave for Missouri next week.
Perfect.
Yep.
So what we did is we put on version 2 of the Legacy, the small one that we're bringing back, is we put 2 little vertical tail fences. I don't know what you want to call them, but it stays in the prop lasts a lot longer. And what I really liked was the stability in the air when you get slow, because there's no air going over the rudder. They kind of wiggle, and you could use differential and power through it if you were good, but you couldn't really drive it. Well, this really just carved through the air. It gave it the extra stability on the tail that it needed, and I put it down in that terrible wind out there.
Yeah,
and it was like, okay, that's good.
nice.
Now after I landed, it rolled it and tumbled it like a tumbleweed. But up until then, it was cool.
So
Nice.
this is the Legacy V2.
Yep.
It's got some. Not only does it have those little fins on the elevator on the back.
Yeah.
What other modifications does it have?
We're gonna have show you how to put a steerable tail wheel on it, which is pretty cool. We got just a couple simple provisions that were used in the premium pack, which will make a steerable tail wheel possible. We're gonna have a 3D printed main landing gear, which in my opinion is stronger than the original. Not as heavy either, which is cool.
Nice.
And it's real easy to bend. You don't have to bend a bunch of common things, just 2 bends per side. And it's there, and it's all flat as can be. And then
which will come in the kit.
Yep, it'll come in the kit. And this is the biggest thing. It doesn't necessarily pertain to the plane, but back in the day when you had that big monster aluminum gear that we were all loving, that added about 3 inches of package depth, and that bumped it up to the next bracket of shipping. And shipping's just gotten ridiculous.
Yeah.
By the way, because of what you guys have done for us on our store, we have better shipping rates than ever now. We just unlocked like that other tier.
Yeah.
So check out our store and check out the shipping rates now and the options. Click around and you'll see some amazing options that don't make you wait longer, that are just way cheaper.
Yep.
Specifically, I believe in the FedEx and the USPS. It may be all 3.
It's actually, there's like 4 different ones now. Robert's been like running his tail off with this. Yeah.
Hashtag crushing it.
Crushing it.
Crushing
Yeah.
it. We got better rates. Yeah.
So now what we can do though is we can have the overall package size is smaller, and that saves a ton on shipping. And of course, the wheels, the big monster wheels, are going to be in there. Everything's going to be in there, and we're going to be throwing a little tiny tail wheel in there for you as well too.
But the wheel. So the wheels are coming in the regular kit.
Wheels, 3D printed landing gear piece. And if you break it, like I said, hats off. You probably don't have much of a plane left, because we've done bad things to this.
Yeah.
Right.
What am I forgetting? Oh my gosh, yeah, the tail, overall tail. We learned a lot with the fold over. So we have a barbecue skewer in there that goes on the vertical tail that folds
nice.
over and gives it a nice finished look. Overall, it's just been kind of just went through and refined. The only thing you have to deal with is a little supplemental video that's mainly around the tail and the landing gear.
Awesome.
And it'll just be like, hey, if you want to do this, do this. So,
which is not a problem at all.
Yeah.
Right. Now, those plans, are going to be, once we get a hold of Dan. Hey, Dan, if you're listening, you'll have some more plans coming your way. Now, it's just a modification of the tail and everything.
Yeah.
So those plans are going to be
correct
free.
Yes.
Definitely. And the landing gear STL file, we're going to actually be using that as one of the.
Is that gonna be a perk tier?
That's going to be a perk for December.
Cool.
But then we're also putting together a Legacy power pack value bundle.
Yeah. So the motors that are on the Widgeon, I forget what KV it is. I'm so sorry, guys. It's a 2212.
I'm trying to think of it too. Is it 12? 1105 or
no 1150
1200 maybe
1200 maybe. I think it's 1200. I think it's 1200. It sounds
they basically
right.
swing a 9-inch prop.
Yeah.
And it's the same motors in the Widgeon. If anyone's flown the Widgeon, it has some really great power, a little bit more speed. We have a ton of those motors, so we're able to discount those. And the backstory of those motors is when we went to Freedom Fox V2, we already bought the 2212 motors. So it's like, well, what are we going to do with these motors? So I said, put them in a bag, ship them to us.
Yeah.
And because we have all these motors, we're making these value bundles. And I just test flew it with it. And even in this wind, it punched great.
Awesome. Yeah, they're nice little motors for that.
They are. It's a budget motor. So it's good bearings and stuff, I believe. Don't quote me, but I thought it was made by Sunny Sky.
Okay.
I think they're Sunny Sky motors.
Yeah.
Boy.
Well, I know the big ones are.
I believe.
Yeah, the big ones are the 2814s are Sunny Sky.
Yeah.
But they're good motors, and it's like it'd be terrible just to let them go to waste.
Yep.
So because we already bought them and it wasn't like in the plan, it's like let's package these up with planes that work for them and then give them at a good discount.
Well, and you'll see them on the store. The store they'll say the budget B or the budget bundle.
Budget bundle, yeah.
Yeah, so it comes with the motor and the ESC.
Yeah, a little higher KV, a little bit lighter. It's not the quality of the radials, but it's also way less money.
Yeah.
The neat thing, if you fly the Legacy with this, just for cruising, basic FPV, things like that, you're going to love it. If you want to do glider tows and stuff, don't do the budget bundle, do the Twin C, and then go with the 4-cell option because it is the most therapeutic thing when you see, remember the Waco on the 4-cell? We just pulled it vertical. Just pulled it. It looked like a fish just getting pulled out of water. And with the C radials, if you want that crazy punch and push, just spend the extra money. But the Bs, I think, are going to hit 80% of the people. Right. And give them a great value at the same time.
Yeah, and be looking for our store email because those will be either. I haven't decided if they'll be the store email or the Black Friday deal. We're gonna have 2 emails coming out, one next week and the one the following week with a lot of good deals. I think that people are gonna be very pleased in the deals in which we're gonna be able to do.
Well, and my hats go off to the community because the feedback they gave us with wanting us to. They weren't happy with the store the way it was. Right. And they wanted it brought back. I'm happier than I've ever been, having the store back.
Speak a little bit about the bringing back because that's something that we're running into a lot is like people don't realize that we're no longer with A-Main. Yeah. And so we're on our own now.
So here's the vision of the store and here's the feedback we got and the direction we're going is, when A-Main was doing our fulfillment for the past, I think it's 3 years.
Yeah, I think so.
They brought about 25,000 different SKUs into the flight test store. And so we owned the flight test store, but they were hosting it and fulfilling through it. All well and good. But when we have, flight test stuff is maybe 500 and then you have 25,000 SKUs, it just gets lost. And so you get a lot of frustrated people that are saying, I can't find what I'm looking for. And our community is amazing because they love building and they love flying. We want to really make sure the store meets those needs, building and flying. And so when we took the feedback that the customer experience wasn't good, different critiques and stuff, we're like, okay, we gotta keep this in vision. So that's exactly what we did. And it's every month or every week, I'd say it takes a huge leap forward in the evolution. Right. The way that Wes is working behind the scenes to make the, finding your battery easier and things like that. It's getting better every week. Oh, yeah. So what I want is not just a place to go and buy stuff. I want a place where if there's a new hobbyist or a parent wanting to build with their kid, they can go there and they get not only what they need, but also educated at the same time. Right. It needs to be an experience. And that's what Wes is working real hard. Robert's working real hard. And I know you are too, Lee, to make happen. Eventually, we're going to have videos kind of accompanying a lot of these categories. So when you go to Mighty Minis, there'll be a little 30-second, what is a Mighty Mini? What is the vision? When you go to Power Packs. So it gives people an opportunity to kind of learn about that, but also get excited. Right. This hobby, it may be far more affordable than it used to be, but it's still incredibly intimidating. Yeah. And the store shouldn't just be like, okay, if you know what you want, here you go. It should be hand-holding. It should be friend on the field.
Oh, so it's not just about the planes. We've talked about that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, and I'm looking at some of these comments here. Ben and Dan in particular, you're talking about you haven't built your tutor yet. That's a good segue in talking about plans and planes and everything. It's about the interaction. Yeah. On the 26th of this month, which is going to be Black Friday, we're doing a live tutor build. So Dan and Ben, if you haven't by then, you can always just build right along with Josh and the gang on the 26th. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. There's something special about getting to engage people and build live. Yeah, I want to do this monthly. I know that probably puts some gray hairs on your bald head, but
let's get one under.
Okay,
and then we'll deal. We'll
go from there.
Yeah,
sounds like a good plan.
It's really, really cool and just getting to work. But the tutor is such an easy, I'd say, therapeutic build.
And it's so satisfying.
It is. And a lot of people, I saw some comments. Yeah, it looks like the Cub because the build principles that we use from all of our simple series, the internal doublers and stuff, you'll see an evolution of a lot of those things. We want to take what one plane teaches you and have it be something that makes you comfortable with other builds too. Yeah. So very, very similar to the Cub, but a lot of evolution in form and fit. And also the landing gear is a whole different animal.
Mhm.
I need to go back into the Cub and the Scout, frankly, and fix that
All right.
and put those doublers in there. We'll let you know when that happens.
All right. So we have a couple. Ben's asking what time the tutor build is going to be. That's 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We have it scheduled from 7 to 9. And the ending time is going to really be dependent upon when we not only finish the build, but we finish just chatting and everything. So,
a lot of people talk about, free plans and stuff. If you get your speedboat kit, say you want to do your live build and say you have 3 other people, if you want, just get it early, trace it out.
Yeah.
Make a bunch of other parts. That's a really great, or just buy 3.
or buy 3, or
join the FTCA.
Join the FTCA. So that's another thing we need to chat about a little bit. So FTCA Air Crew, this, and I know I've seen Josh Goetz. You said that you haven't got a response yet. We're as far as getting upgraded to Air Crew. Rest assured that will definitely happen. Don't worry about not being able to get that. We're working. We actually had a power outage. I don't know if you knew that.
I talked to Robert earlier.
Robert had a power outage at the at his office.
Really?
And couldn't work on anything. So
that's awkward.
Yeah. When you kind of need power for the computer.
Yeah, electrons do a lot.
Yeah.
Man,
so
if you would have had EcoFloat, man, that would have been
EcoFloat. Sponsoring, no free sponsorship.
Sorry,
that
I
was
just couldn't
awesome.
help it.
If anyone deserves a free sponsorship, though, it's Eco.
Yeah,
for sure.
They're fantastic.
Yeah,
For sure.
They powered my kid's wedding. Our kid's wedding.
Our kid, that was
My
awesome.
kids. Your kid was
All right,
my
finish your topic, but then we got to talk about the wedding too.
Okay, yeah. So, I think we're going to be on this a little bit, but so the FTCA, if you are an air crew member, you will be getting the build plans this month. It'll come out
1 month early.
Yeah, what's that?
1 month early, because I've been telling everyone December.
Yeah. So it is a surprise, but there's a reason behind it, because there's a big change that we're going to be doing with the FTCA. But before we talk about the big change, if you're not an air crew member, and we've put out social media posts, we've put out forum posts that if you're not an air crew member, you're not going to receive it. So this is not, we want to hold back from anybody. We want to reward the air crew for what it is they're doing. So I don't know if anybody is going to be upset or anything.
Ground crew's getting plans too.
Ground crew is getting, they are getting some plans.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the tutor, but they will be getting some, I think, pretty cool ones too. The air crew is actually getting 2 sets of plans.
2 sets of plans, yeah.
Yeah, so they'll be getting the same as the ground as well. So
here's the beauty of flight test is we get to say, here's our vision, guys, here's where we're going, and then we get to tell you in the following months what we've learned and what we're changing.
Yeah.
That's no different with the FTCA, because we're learning a lot and we're trying to adapt to it.
Nice. Spawnhold said, hey, the plan should be in your box now. Awesome.
Thanks, Dan. Dan is our lean, mean plans building machine.
There he is. So let's talk about the big change that we're going to be instituting in the FTCA, and you guys are going to be the first to hear it. All 28 of you that are tuned in here now, it's going to go out in the email as well. But we have like you just said that we've learned a lot over the past few months with having different classes of membership. We're still going to have 2 different categories of membership. We're going to have paid membership and then free membership. This is all going to be starting on the 1st of January. And there's many different reasons, but the main reason is that what we've seen with the division in the 2 paid memberships, the ground crew and the air crew, what we have seen is there's been a division that it's unnecessary. There shouldn't be a division, and we don't want to cause any division when we're trying to unite everybody to promote the hobby.
The whole vision of ground crew and air crew was to include people that we felt were slighted, aka the families and the people that were coming out to the flying field, but definitely, they don't fly, they stand by. They're the ones that are helping each other out or hanging out or socializing and encouraging and laughing. And we wanted to make sure they had a part with the whole thing. We didn't want it to be a mechanism to be like, oh, I'll take this tier
Right. They're getting in on the lower level. But,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we see a lot of those people just, hey, I want to be a part of this. I'm air crew all the way.
Yeah.
So to set some of you at ease who may be ground crew, we're going to make this change. And it's going to be no charge to the ground crew. That everybody in the ground crew will be bumped up to air crew. And this is taking effect on the 1st of January. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't pay when it's renewed. You're still going to be expected to pay the $24 for the air crew, but you will be able to opt out of that if that's what you desire to do. And as far as going forward from there, changes, not everybody likes changes, but we're trying to make the best decisions. And at the end of the day, the perks and everything that we get for being ground crew and air crew and even the free, they way exceed any amount that people are actually putting into it. So
For sure.
I'm hoping everybody takes it well.
And I'm liking this, the organic growth is slow, but it gives us the opportunity to really learn. When we started Flight Test, we didn't profess that we knew everything about this, crazy idea that we had. We learned, we succeeded in some things, we failed in others, we adapted, we communicated with you, we got feedback. And I see the FTCA being very much the exact same process.
Yeah.
And I love it because it's just a healthy way to grow.
Yeah, and I think that, with everything with the FAA and everything that's happening, there's still a lot of questions being asked of where everything is trending anyways, right?
Yeah.
And so, the FTCA, obviously we're doing our very best to put plans in place to be ready for those things that come down from the FAA. As well as just, keep our community in the loop as much as we can.
Yeah.
So we're learning alongside everybody else. Obviously, we have a little bit more insight into what's going on in the day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month kind of thing because of what you're doing on the DAC and all that kind of stuff. But, that's just part of the way that the FTCA has kind of been moving through the paces.
And I think a really amazing chapter for the FTCA is going to be when the app
Oh man,
comes out.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to talk
You
about it?
can talk about the app, but I mean, I think Robert will strangle you. It's something.
He had a power outage. He's probably not listening.
Yeah.
So I did talk to him about an hour ago, so I know he got something.
Oh, it's back up now.
Yeah, I don't know if it is, but I talked to him.
Oh, by the way, bye, Bruce. Thanks for stopping in, man. It's great to see your presence here. Thank you for that. The app and stuff I think is really going to be great. Our community is definitely physical when we gather together, but they're definitely savvy in the tech world too.
Yeah.
And the things that Robert's amazing mind is cooking up and doing and working on, it's a big project, but it's well needed. And I think that's going to be a very amazing arrow in the quiver for FTCA and frankly Flight Test because they're together.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
and I think too that one of the things that we need to keep in mind is that we're all about the equipping and all about the promoting. And you made mention a little bit ago about the AMA, and I said something along the lines that we want to make sure that we're not making enemies with them. Not that oh man, that sounded
I heard that I'm sorry guys.
Was that
my
your
back
back?
is killing me. Yeah.
Oh man,
dang.
Sorry, that was not me tooting, that was my back.
Right.
I thought you got shot.
I know.
I was like, what's going on?
That wasn't me.
If you're watching on the web thing, you probably see my shoulders. I'm hurting.
Yeah.
But okay, carry on.
I'm sorry.
No.
He's gonna go to the chiropractor.
I didn't think I was going to make that noise.
Oh.
Okay.
But
But
we're all broken people, figuratively and literally.
right.
We all got
Biggs
problems.
there, yeah.
I got ankles.
Leave
that
it
are
to
gonna
me to
break
ruin
my
a
glass.
good moment. Do not lose this moment. Go ahead.
No, all I was going to say was the fact that we actually want to.
Sorry, I can't help it. Josh is killing me. I love it so much. I love it, man.
Where's Max at? Let's pet the dog. Might as well do
He's
something
down
productive,
below,
right?
There we go. And onward, good sir.
No, so we do. There's been a lot of talk. I've talked to Flying Monkey was one that I was talking to earlier. He said he had some run-ins with some AMA guys that just it wasn't really nice. Because they were seeing what we're trying to do is like we're trying to take over. We're not.
It just okay. Let's step back 3 seconds. This is not West Side Story.
No,
We're not sitting here on one side going.
Pew, 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 pew.
You
No.
know, they bring foam board, we bring balsa. No, guys.
We actually want to work together, and I know that is going to disrupt some of our FTCA members because they think that we're going to, charge hell with a squirt gun and a washcloth. That's not the purpose.
I've never heard that before, but that's awesome.
You never heard that
I've
before?
never heard that before in my life.
That's a pastor analogy.
Listen to me preach. You hear it.
That's great.
Well, and here's what we're not going to do. Here's the foundational stuff. We're not compromising our values of what flight test is. We're not compromising our values on who we are, what we're supposed to do, and who we're supporting. We're not compromising any of that. We will not do that.
Right.
But here's the thing. People in flying clubs, sometimes they just want to be able to figure out how in the world do they grow the hobby? How in the world do they teach people? How in the world do they do this? I'm not going to make a blanket and say if someone's part of the AMA, somehow they're not having fun right, or they're not doing the hobby right.
No.
We should equip everybody.
Exactly.
And I think that's what we need to set up to do. And stop saying, okay, which CBO are you part of? No.
Let's work at this together. So rigor. I just got it. Rigor mortis.
Yeah.
Rigor mortis.
Yep.
I love it.
AMA is a relic.
AMA is a relic. But relics aren't always bad. Relic.
There's some really cool ones.
Yeah, relics can actually they stand for something. Yeah, I mean there's age there, and that's one thing that AMA does have. They have age.
They have age. They have a lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: is we can help bridge that gap and create a culture that is friendly and warm and open and engaging.
Yeah, and that's not us selling out. And I think that's another thing that if we
won't let it be.
Yeah, no, I mean it's kind of like, and I wasn't here for the time when some of the people said because you talked to Google, then we're selling out all that. It's not even that. It's the hobby is too. I don't want to say fragile because it's not fragile, but it's just in need of some hope. It's in need of relic like Josh's bag. Yes.
I gotta crack it again.
Got him. I see it this way too. It's like you've heard the saying of like rising tide raises all ships, right?
Yeah.
I view it very similar scenario, right? In that way, just the fact that like I feel like if everybody's going to be coming together and doing the things that we need to do, and everybody's winning, if you want to call it that, for lack of a better term, then the hobbyist and the hobby wins, right? If all of the people can come together and make something happen for the good of the hobby, why would we not do that?
Right.
Yeah, that's the question. And if you're on the fence about that question, then it might need to do some soul searching there. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we want to be able to let you fly, your friend fly, your family fly, and also the guy that is hanging out with his balsa plane at the AMA field also fly. Yeah. Like he shouldn't be excluded just because he's not flying exactly what you fly or they fly or whatever. So, you know what I mean?
I was totally blown away. There's a gentleman. I had to say goodbye to him and hook him up with Wes because he came in to get some questions answered. He flew like 15 years ago. And he wanted to get back on the hobby, and he showed up. And by the way, our training for Thursday and Friday nights is done because after hours it is dark. So,
right, yeah.
But he showed up and stuff, and so I hooked him up with the simulator downstairs and was talking with him. But he was sharing his story with, I got in the hobby a long time ago, and we connected. You're talking about wisdom and stuff. He's like, you probably don't know some of these airplanes. I was like, well, try me. And so start name tossing and yeah, guess what? I know him. And I loved him and I flew most of them. But we connected on that level. The neatest thing was he's like, I'm telling him the vision of Edgewater and how we teach people and what we do and why we do it and stuff. And he's like, this is so different. This is so different. That can message that process, that way of connecting with people and hopefully changing hearts and minds through flight, not just to get them in the hobby, but to love on them, to build a relationship, to build a friendship. That is not only in our little bubble. That is something I want to see worldwide. And the neat thing with Flight Test is we're a worldwide community. So it's not AMA, it's not FTCA. It's the values of what we want to do. We're using the FTCA to make those programs and those processes repeatable, not only in the U.S., but hopefully around the country.
And make them a reality.
And make them a reality. That is the bottom line of what we do with these silly foam board airplanes. We try to connect with people, build relationships, and bless others. And we want that. We're not holding that hostage only in our bubble. We're proclaiming that loudly across the board. I mean, that's what we do with the gospel, right? Yeah. So why would we keep that other part quiet to ourselves? There is a bigger villain. A lot of people want to say FTCA or AMA. There is a bigger villain, and I don't know if I should call him villain, but you know what? I'm a little jaded. I feel with the FAA, we can't just have a moment where they get it, we get it, and we think it's going to stay that way. We're here to protect the hobby. We're here to advocate for the hobby and everything good that the hobby schools and people's lives and homes and backyards, flying clubs, flying groups. We're here to do that. I'm not interested in trying to square off to see who the bigger fish in the pond is.
Right.
I'm worried about making sure we can live in the pond.
Right.
And wow. And we can use that analogy.
And there's still a pond to be lived in.
And there's a pond to live in. Yeah. So will we hold as a group to our values and what we're setting out to do? Absolutely. I'll square off with anybody on that. But the biggest thing is we want to change lives, and it's important that we don't just draw lines and stuff. No, I see that enough in politics.
There's a comment, Craig Lowe, and this kind of goes hand in hand with what you're saying here, Josh. Is there any plans to help start up clubs in areas where the hobby is struggling or non-existent?
Yeah.
I think the plan is that first you need to be engaging with people. Now, our plan is once we are, the FAA does identify CBOs and we have to have FRIAs and everything. We are formulating a plan for people to execute so that they can do this all legally and everything. But until then, the best way. I just had a conversation a couple weeks ago with a young man that is down by Columbus. That actually I think he was on here a little bit ago. Is Lincoln, and just talking to him about what it is that a group can be, an FT group can be, and how to formulate it, what you should do. I mean, it's basically you need to get your buddies together. You need to talk about foam board airplanes or whatever, balsa. It doesn't matter what kind of airplanes, but you need to just focus on that relationship. Yeah. Because the planes are going to end up in trees.
They're secondary.
They're secondary. Just focus on that, and then when you're able to fly and have a good time, that's just a mechanism that's used to get.
Yeah, that's a cherry on the top of the awesome Sunday.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not that it's
so good, tastes so good.
It does. It's not that I guess we don't want to glamorize the fact, or I don't even know what the word I'm looking for, because I think that sometimes we can take things for granted because we're in this every single day, and
sometimes a bubble.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. It's kind of like in the church world where like the pastor can be insulated from the outside because all he does is he hangs around with the sheep. Well, I think that sometimes we can do the same thing. But what we need to do is just be aware, and I'm hoping that through our community we are more aware. We're not looking at things through rose-colored glasses and just saying, oh, it's not going to be bad. No, we honestly believe. Like, so I just read one here that Matt Allen said that he worries about the FAA restrictions shutting down the little league of the air industry. Well, I get that. That's a real fear for some people, but I don't think the reality is there, because the reality is if they really shut that down, they're shutting down the history, or I should say,
shutting down the future.
The pipeline.
Yeah. The pipeline.
That's what
aviation.
It is.
Yeah.
Here's some reality checks. Is like clockwork, and this is what I've learned through a lot of great people working on these projects with the DAC. 64,000 jobs, I believe, in the next 10 years in the aviation industry are going to be gone. People are taking earlier retirement than ever. It's probably going to be even higher than the number, but like clockwork, 6,400 people. Now imagine right now with all the crazy going on with
6,400 or 64,000?
6,400 a year, 64,000 over 10 years.
10 years, gotcha.
Looks to be the reality. And this is the one truth that the FAA cannot ignore, is when you look at what got people into aviation, historically, majority, model aviation,
right?
Hands down.
Yeah.
So you cannot cut this off. And I'm sorry, I'm going to burst a lot of bubbles. You're not going to have robots flying us around too quickly.
No.
I don't want a robot in a tin can flying me to Florida. I'm sorry, but I want a Sully. I want a human with the heart.
Right.
And I think the majority of people do too. I'm not saying it'll never happen, because I'll tell you what those autonomous cars can do is pretty darn awesome.
Oh yeah.
But there's still going to need to be people maintaining those aircraft and stuff like that. Model aviation is the catalyst that brings all that. And one thing that we're really good with Flight Test is making new hobbyists. That is something that God has blessed us with. And when you go to a Flight Fest event, look how many people walk in knowing nothing about the hobby, and they walk out not only flying good, but building good. And that's done on a weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what Flight Test and the FTCA is going to be able to put in a can, put in a package, and then make that a program and make it teachable. And Lee, tell me if I'm wrong, but I see a day where you may have a bunch of AMA clubs that are still part of the AMA, but there's FTCA groups within that club.
Oh, absolutely.
It should absolutely be the right of a club to choose whose programs they use.
Oh, yeah.
And I can see that the build nights, the training, the courses. I mean, it puts it in the can. I was talking to one gentleman. He flew some pretty crazy airplanes, Pitzes and stuff, and he was nervous about getting in electrics, and just because it was unknown.
Right.
Wow.
It only took 15 minutes to make him not nervous, but at the same time, what if that was packaged so clubs could use that and pull people in, like when a person gets too old and they don't want to fire up that nitro or that gas engine anymore, but they're too intimidated about electrics, give them the educational tool to get them into that.
Right.
Yep.
We're not here to just give that to some people. We're here to give it to everybody.
Right.
So I'm excited about that chapter, and I think it's going to be pretty darn awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
I think it's going to be beyond amazing.
Phenomenal.
Awesome. Okay, we got kids that got married last weekend. We got to talk about this.
Yeah, I hear that the father of the bride walked his bride down or his daughter down the aisle.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
Well, it's funny because I hear this chuckling, and I was like, okay, what's Lee doing? By the way, your daughter was glowing.
Oh man, she was beautiful.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So Lee
Walks to the back of his truck, not the other side.
Lee pulls in. He brings his lovely daughter in the Jeep, and we pull on the back of EcoFlow runway. And I thought the kids were, first of all, nuts for, number one, wanting an outdoor wedding in November. Number two, saying, let's put it on the runway. And then everything gets set up. God blesses us with some of the most beautiful weather.
Oh,
I mean,
60 degrees,
beautiful.
sunny,
like
no
September
wind.
weather in November.
Yeah, and we're sitting on the EcoFlow runway with hay bales for seats, and it was just beautiful. Here comes this beautiful bride and my bald best friend with a beautiful CMMG AR-15.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a 15.
Was it a Banshee?
Yeah, it was the AR-9.
Yeah, okay, it was a 9. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Strapped to it in the front of his hip.
The dude walked his daughter down the aisle with a Banshee on him. It looked good on you, but
It did.
okay, you can be honest. Okay, it's
Yeah.
just you, me, Stefan, and a bunch of people listening.
Yeah.
Did you do that to keep yourself from crying?
No.
He wanted to look hard on the outside, but
I think
inside
the
he was
pause says it all.
crumbling.
What do you think, Stefan?
No.
You saw it.
He was crumbling inside.
I was. So here's my thought. I know my daughter,
Yeah.
and I know I've learned to your son, and I know that both of them they're goofy, but they are very
They're deep.
They are very
goofy
very
and deep.
deep,
And they're responsible.
and they totally responsible. So what I wanted to my intention was just to kind of, I don't want to say ease the mood,
Yes.
but kind of cut the tension. I mean, just to fit in with what it
Yeah,
how.
if you had to, you could have killed the tension.
Well, yeah, and I don't know. Did you hear what I told your son when I walked up there?
I heard it, but now you got to remind me because
So I said, this is just in case you want to change your mind.
So really, he just kept the ball rolling.
just kept the energy in the room.
And what I didn't know at the time, but
Yeah.
your wife said that your son you could tell he was like all anxious and
Yeah.
looked like he was about ready to cry,
Yeah.
right when we started to walk down the aisle. Not because I had a gun. I think when he saw that I had a gun, he was like,
Yeah.
it kind of cut it.
It brought, and by the way, if anyone doesn't know, our families,
Yeah.
we're believers, but we love guns.
Oh yeah.
So we can't afford to shoot them
guns, and
anymore.
gadgets.
So this is not like out of the normal,
Right,
with
right.
this. But
Yeah, none
Yeah.
of the guns are loaded because
No.
it's too expensive. But yeah, you're good.
Well, it was
but
loaded.
It's another hobby.
Just
It
kidding.
was loaded. I'm sorry.
So
Well, why have a gun if you ain't gonna load it? Sorry, Josh.
it's a Marine.
No.
It's okay.
It's a brewery, yeah.
So long story short, it did cut the tension, and
Yeah.
it got a good giggle. But it was, what I saw between the both families, especially because we're best friends. It's not too common, I think, for the two in-laws to actually have a relationship for like 12 years and be best friends. And we were in the back waiting for the wedding to start, just laughing
Oh yeah.
and having a good old time. And we went in 15 minutes. We went from you walking your lovely daughter down the aisle to the Unity was not a Unity candle. It wasn't Unity sand. They picked their own
Oh my goodness.
their own twist on this, and it
Here's-
was tasty and hysterical.
Here's
And
a
deep.
hint.
That just sounded weird.
That was weird. So the people that aren't watching the video, that when they listen to the podcast, like, I don't know.
It was fantastic. It was one of my favorites of all time.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. Jeff Pohl just said he has the perfect photo of it.
Oh yeah.
So they chose to do a Unity peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and Pastor Pastor Scott, thank you. He wrote probably one of the most beautiful biblical parallels
it was awesome.
around peanut butter and jelly I've ever heard. But they decided to make that be a representation instead of a Unity candle, and I hope it becomes a thing. The gist of it was, well, you want to break it down?
Okay, so the peanut butter jelly. I think the first thing was they're different. And they wanted something special.
Oh, and they love peanut butter jelly.
And they love peanut butter jelly. So and I love what Scott said. The peanut butter because Noah had the peanut butter is just the nuttiness.
Because he's a nutty guy.
Yes. Yeah. And then the jelly was actually my grandma passed away almost a year ago now in December.
Yeah.
And the jelly was her jelly. So and Haley was super close. I mean, if anybody knows or seen Haley, she has a tattoo on her arm that kind of just reminds her of grandma. So that the jelly we was signifying, grandma in our family and everything. So, and then when Scott brought in how, cause he did a beautiful rendition of the importance of peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. Peanut butter was the sustenance,
and the stickiness
and the nuttiness.
Yeah. And then he brings in the bread is Christ's body, the bread of life. The bread of life. And
it was awesome.
It was awesome.
So it's funny because he kept making people laugh and you kept on getting, I think you're a little jealous.
I wasn't jealous. So Scott is another one. His friendship and mine, I mean, it goes back
many moons.
Yeah, probably around the same time as ours. And I was telling you, so it was cool.
I'm the young one in the group. I've only known these lads for 6 or so years.
You get there.
It's the best 6 years though.
Right. So I had I told Josh this. I don't have very many friends because I don't fit in places. Like we found out last time. No, but I had 4 of my best friends all in one place. So I had Josh there. I had Scott there. I had Bobby, who has been a friend. He's been the one the longest since we were in 6th grade. Then I had Kurt there. All just experiencing that day with us. It was special.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And my favorite thing was how these two were themselves, but the moment was beautiful. I loved when they're making their peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch, because Noah was like hungry, he did what every guy does. He sticks the knife back in the peanut butter. But then they immediately had to go and then talk after taking their bites. And try to talk with a lot of peanut butter.
That's why you get your ribs stuck in the mouth.
Pastor had to give him a moment.
Yep.
It was
hashtag the nuttiness.
I tell you, it was a beautiful wedding, a beautiful day, and then the reception. It was incredible. And getting Pilot Institute ready, we had to do it in a short amount of time. So your family, Lee, everybody, we just all kind of collapsed on this thing.
The Pilot Institute looks amazing now.
Yeah, it looks incredible. And what a great reason to have to do what normally would have been months in a matter of weeks.
Right.
And it's done. We're ready. I mean, Dave was doing content in there today.
Yeah, he was standing on a giant airplane.
Yeah, and it's really taking shape. But just what a special thing. They're going to be back from their honeymoon, I think, tomorrow, right?
Yep.
And they got electricity in their home, but nothing else.
Well, hey, they got plenty of places to stay.
They're not too far from some other things too.
Yeah,
from what I understand.
Yeah,
right.
So, but no, it was just a beautiful day, and I'm ready. I'm excited about this chapter of life. When you see your kids grow up and pick wisely, I guess you can say, and love well, and it makes you happy as a parent.
It does.
Yeah,
it does. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that it's a testament to really everything that we're doing here. Yeah. Because I don't know if everybody knows, but obviously they know now that our lives really revolve around this place. We're here a lot. Our families are together, and with the Ostergrens as well. Yeah. I mean, what's his name again?
My name?
Yeah, Stefan.
Stefan.
Well, he hasn't been around, so
That's
no.
mean.
But I know I'm playing.
I love
No,
you,
you see,
Stefan.
I love it because
Thanks,
our
Josh.
families come together. And like Stefan came into my office today and said, "Hey, is your family going to be here today at all?" Because his family was going to come out.
It is.
I just love that that togetherness that we have,
Yeah.
and we
Our
enjoy it.
conference room literally turns into our dinner table.
Yes.
Which is hysterical.
Oh, I love it when corporate comes in and we have to like, oh, sorry, there's food crumbs here or
There's
something.
chips and salsa still sitting from the night before.
Sorry for the
Right.
Chipotle.
Right.
No, it's special. I mean,
Yeah.
and you guys have heard me say so many times. This is my favorite chapter of a flight test, and I think of life just because of the relationships we have. You cannot do something like flight test without it being a little bit unorthodox.
Yep.
And it's just such a joy, the fact that when the day is done, our families still love getting together. And to what you said, I want that to be a pattern in people's lives where hobbies aren't meant to separate and escape. Hobbies are meant to connect.
Yeah.
And our heart's desire would be that through the silly act of flying model airplanes, that passions for maybe future careers are developed, but also relationships are developed and cultivated that go beyond flying, that feed encouragement into people's lives, that open up the door for relationship, for the gospel, for encouraging.
Oh yeah, for
I'm,
sure.
I'm amazed how we're talking. Today's Veterans Day. It's so relevant. The amount of stories we get from warriors that say when they came back from serving, it stripped a lot more than just time away from them and their family.
Yeah.
It stripped away a lot of heart, a lot of functionality to reconnect.
Yeah.
And this crazy hobby has been a tool for them to be able to do so. We got a beautiful journal that a gentleman gave us at Flight Fest.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, it's the stories are real.
Yeah.
Testimony. If you want to go to the FTCA, read testimonials, and type in the word military in the search engine, and it'll filter all the military stories. It's just incredible how something as simple as this hobby can be used as a healing tool.
Right.
And we want to protect that, but it's a testimony. In the evening, we can all get together. We can eat food and laugh and connect after a full 8-hour work week.
Yeah, and have kids just running around like crazy. Also, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you were mentioning earlier that you guys have been friends for 12 years. Your son and your daughter got married. I have the almost exact same story. My mom and my wife's mother have been friends for, almost 18 or so odd years, 20 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And her mom was praying for her future son-in-law,
Which we are still.
Yes. And right. Since she was like 12. And that all happened come to full circle. We obviously got married in 2011.
10 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Liz should get a trophy.
Yeah, 100%. She's a saint.
Oh, man.
She should get a lot more than a trophy. That's for sure.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, the fact that like our families are all wired that way with making sure that family is a priority, it's just kind of in our blood, in our veins, in our mindsets, and so it's just cool to be able to see that that's part of everything that we do here. You know what I mean?
There's no way, and there's no way what's going on here would happen without it being that way.
Yeah,
agreed. I love it.
Yeah. Hey, we need to wrap this up.
Yes.
We're going long. I'm sorry, guys.
No, we're right on time.
Are we?
We're
57 minutes.
Yeah, 57 minutes. We're looking good. It's just we need to circle and land.
The last words of wisdom that we always ask.
Stefan, any words of wisdom for us?
Yes. 2 things.
Oh no, one. You only got one.
One?
Give them 2. I want to hear
I'm gonna do 2. All right, 2 things.
Okay.
First things first. Go make yourself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You will not regret it. And last but not least, happy Veterans Day. Thank you so much for those who have served and who are currently serving actively.
Yes.
It means the world to us. And we cannot thank you enough. So
love y'all.
that's all I got.
All right. Till next time.
See you guys.